We're here at AEM Electronics. Somehow I've defeated their security system, so we're going to give ourselves one of our self-guided tours. Just in case you've been living under a rock and you don't know who AEM Electronics is, they are a maker of performance electronics, so engine management systems, data loggers, gauges, all kinds of cool electronic stuff. They won a few trophies too. Upstairs is where all the nerds do their computer programming stuff. We're gonna go take a quick tour up there, and then we'll go head out to the shop and show you some of the cool car guy stuff. Here's where the brain power lives back here, the engineers who are typing ones and zeros on their computers, making all the electronics work. You've got your sales, customer service, technical support over here. And in the boardroom over here, we've got a very large man sitting in front of a laptop. He's gonna show us their new digital dash display. That is Lawson. He's the director of marketing here at AEM Performance, and he's got a little display for us. So let's go sit over here, talk to the large man, and see what's going on.
I don't know if you guys heard, we made a digital dash.
No kidding.
We did.
We like digital dashes, Lawson.
Well, you're going to love this one then. Oh, by the way, did you guys say hi to Steph and Tanner?
Yeah.
We actually saw them a couple days ago. One of the guys, the man on the left. So.
The guy in the Corona hat there. Is that a Corona hat? What is it?
No,
Oh, it's a Compton hat.
Compton,
Straight
man.
to Compton.
Yeah.
I like it. Very
AEM was
classy.
actually, that's where we opened our doors.
That's right, yeah.
Started out in Compton. We were in Gardena for a little while, and then
Yeah.
we moved to this building in 1997.
That long
Been here
ago?
ever since,
Wow.
yeah. This is our 30th year in business.
30th year.
Goes fast.
That's older than me, everybody.
That's a lie.
So this is a brand new deal for you guys. This is your first foray into the digital dash display world?
Yeah. As you know, we're pretty well versed in gauges.
Yeah, of course.
This has been a natural progression, though, with the launch of the Infinity ECU.
Yeah.
The ability to transmit data via CAN. So this is our CD7. It's our CAN dash 7-inch.
Okay,
yeah.
7 inches.
7-inch diagonal. 800 by 480
Okay.
screen. Ultra bright.
Yeah.
So many of the guys here, practically everybody races or
Yeah.
supports somebody who does, and in a track at the track.
He supports my addiction. That's true.
I do. I try to support all you guys.
You do a good job of it. He's the dealer of the good stuff to keep you coming back.
Right. So we looked at some of the things we looked at were some of the frustrations that we had with other digital displays that we used when we didn't have our own.
Sure.
One of which was they could be difficult to see.
Right.
So that was priority number one. Was
Okay.
we wanted to make
like in direct sunlight situations?
In direct sunlight, yeah. And you hit certain situations where it's sun's high in the air and you're coming through and the sun's behind you and you're trying to see what's going on and you just can't see.
Yeah,
it.
I
So
could see that
we
being an
eliminated that. This is truly a daylight readable display.
Okay.
Very, very bright. And then from there we said, okay, what do you really need? So we have 4 main programmable pages.
Okay.
You can program a startup page. You'll probably see a couple of creative ones.
Yeah, we've seen Tony at UMS's already. That was a good one.
There you go.
Yeah, don't suck, Tony. Don't suck.
Exactly. We didn't load it up with a bunch of LEDs. We give you a couple of LEDs as an indicator, but really we did that to drive you down to a warning area.
Okay.
This is a text warning area, so there's no there's no code that you have to decipher when you're trying to race.
Mm-hmm.
You set your alarm parameters and you can categorize them, scroll them. Keep in mind, we are in Hawthorne.
They're coming for you,
so
Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
The ex-girlfriends
Pete,
found
what'd you
out
do,
you're in
man?
town.
Oh man, it's that work visa that I didn't renew.
The paternity tests are being brought in. So these little light LEDs on the sides, are those meant to function as warning lights?
They can function however you want. You
Okay.
can use it as a check engine light. You can use it as really however you want.
My favorite feature is the price.
Oh yeah?
The price is not bad. That was another major priority for us. Is we wanted to make a really high quality dash that was in the realm of digital displays, very affordable.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would have access.
So what does it retail for?
$12.99.
Okay. Wow, that is affordable.
There's so much that it does. We have pre-made templates in here, but it is truly fully customizable. I'm not going to get into it because we'll chew up this whole video talking about the dash. We have a fantastic video of our own.
Okay.
If you want to learn all about it, it's on our YouTube channel.
We'll put a link in over at Lawson said. There'll be a link here, everybody.
You know what? Let's go look at some cool stuff. We got some great R&D projects down in the garage.
Great,
I'd love to show you guys. We'll go check that out.
Yeah, let's look at cars, everybody.
Much more fun.
We're back here in AEM's R&D area. Lots of cool cars to see over here. But first we want to come over here and check out this. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. I just know it's got some giant stop picks on the back. Let's have a peek. So it turns out this thing's a Studebaker. I didn't even know what a Studebaker was, but this is John, the founder of AEM, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about this crazy power tour car you're building.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to get on a power tour in the next year or two.
It was supposed to be ready in 2012.
Yeah.
You might be lagging a little bit on it.
Lagging a lot, unfortunately.
You know what building an empire here.
I got into feature creep.
Okay.
It happens.
It does happen.
Yeah,
it's a story of our lives. We can relate.
I'm a creep. The car's a creep. What the hell, you know?
And it's a serious power plant under there. This is a LS7 motor.
LS7. It's got a cam in it right now. I have a new engine that I'll be putting together with RHS block and mastheads.
Because you need more power.
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah.
Come on. I never invented too much
700
horsepower
now.
and too much money. Yeah, exactly.
Currently, though, it's twin turbo 700-ish, you were saying?
Made 770 at the wheels. Yeah.
Is that on pump gas or is that on the methanol?
Both. So it's always dual fuel. So
it's always done. Okay.
Yeah, it's always had dual fuel. So when it's on boost, it's on pure methanol.
Okay.
When it's on just driving down the highway, it's gasoline. And then there's a transition time of about 20 kPa that we have. So it's on both fuels.
Talking about electronics stuff.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's some kind of a powerful ECU in here, John? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it would have about the most powerful ECU made. Yeah. Somehow I got a good deal on an Infinity
You knew somebody
712. I know somebody that could hook me up, so I had the Infinity on it. Car is kind of meant to be a demonstration of what we do.
Yeah,
too.
of course.
So
That makes
obviously
sense.
I have a lot of AEM
Sure.
stuff on it.
John's going to show you the dead bodies in the trunk here.
A few dead bodies.
There's some.
Right.
Well,
There's dead dinosaurs in the gas tank.
true. There is.
Algae, plankton, all that crap. Yeah.
2 tanks, as you were saying. It's a dual fuel setup.
It is, yeah. So that's methanol, that's gasoline,
Yeah.
that's a dry sump oil tank.
Okay.
So when I'm driving down the highway normally,
Yeah.
it's just gasoline. So I could drive to Vegas and back,
Cruise
no problem.
along.
Yeah, it could actually get 19 miles to a gallon.
Do you really?
So I consult for K&N.
Yeah.
I take it there on Tuesday mornings a lot of times.
Okay.
And I always do a mileage check. It's right around 18 or 19
Oh, that's amazing.
on gasoline. So that's
Yeah.
not bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then when I get on loud pedal, it's on the methanol, which
Right.
the mileage is not so good
Yeah,
once
yeah.
I'm on that. So
That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
It's your antisocial tank.
You're right.
That's
I
your,
like that.
that's
I like
your
that.
I love the planet tank. It's a good setup.
There you go.
I'm guessing there's nothing Studebaker left back here from the look of it. Do you want to maybe give us a quick rundown of what you got out here?
Not much Studebaker on the whole car.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It's a C4 Corvette rear end with
Okay.
coilover conversion.
Okay.
And initially it had a Dana 36. This is a Dana 44 because I promptly blew the Dana 36
Right.
all over the pavement.
Yeah.
Once I put sticky tires on it, it didn't like that
Yeah,
at all. And then some of the problems is the attach points for this lower control arms on stock Corvette is really high.
Yeah.
So you get a big camber change as it goes. So
Right.
my buddy Brian Kono fabricated all this to lower
Yep.
the shock points, or the mount points to get so our camber change is almost nothing
Nice.
on this. So I've been fighting suspension, to be honest. I'm trying to make it so it handles well for a Studebaker.
Yeah.
But when you drive it down the road, I don't want it like, you remember the old Hondas that would just buck and knock your
Yeah,
teeth out?
yeah.
You see these kids going down the road
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't want that.
No, of course
I'm
not.
too old, too fat,
You're too smart
lazy.
for that.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
honest.
So I'm trying to work that out.
Yeah.
That's my current dilemma. So
And you might notice, Pete, that there's a lot of fuel going to the forward to that motor.
yeah,
Should-
it's fuel and oil.
Fuel and oil. That's true. Of course.
Yeah.
you
So
got your
this
dry
side's fuel.
stuff. Yeah.
This side is oil and that's it. An event.
An event. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I have the methanol feed, the gasoline feed, the gasoline return. What I did is, if you look here, I got our fuel filter
Oh yeah.
and the regulator.
Oh yeah.
So everything's mounted in the back.
Yeah.
So I don't have a regulator up front. So the fuel for the gasoline's not always being heated up by running through the rail.
Gotcha.
It's a near tank return system. So I just do everything back here.
Great idea.
Yeah, it worked out really, and it's convenient and makes it a lot
Yeah,
easier
yeah.
to deal with. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool car. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Pete, but I'm coming back in 2028 when the car is ready to run. We're going on the power tour. John will be retired. I'll be
Retired.
in my
dead
golden
at
years.
2028.
What do you say we go take a look at some of this European stuff back there? It's my kind of car right here. It looks like a bit of a track horror.
Both our kind of cars.
Yeah.
This is Hunter, and he is the guy that you call when you've failed to wire in your Infinity correctly.
Yes,
Any other
or-
AEM related products?
Any sort of gauge, water meth, the whole Infinity line.
So what's your most common call?
So every day, first thing, 8 a.m., customer calls in, I'm having problems with my Uego. And I say, well, do you have power and ground connected? And they're like, oh, I forgot that.
Red is what and black is what?
Red for power, black for ground.
That's
Step
right.
one.
That's right. Black is always ground, everybody. So this is obviously an E36. Is it an M3 chassis?
It's a 325 chassis.
Okay.
With the full E36 M3 subframe. Rear differential was re-geared for the T56 transmission. And
T56
LS.
transmission. Does that mean there's something different in the...
There's a LS drivetrain swap out of a F-body Camaro.
Oh, wow.
Yep, currently being run off the Infinity engine management software and the AEM 24X plug-and-play harness.
Okay.
So that's wired directly into the car, and just playing around with the CD7 dash a little bit as well.
Oh, wow, you got it all in there. The perks of the job, I guess, huh? And we were also admiring your Porsche calipers. That's an interesting conversion.
Yes, I have the 996 turbo calipers with E46 CSL rotors.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of stopping power, and it's all behind some Volk 90s wheels, so keep with the times.
Yeah, I love it. We're going to show you guys how to do a similar, but not quite the same brake upgrade on our buddy Moose's E36, so stay tuned for that one. The roll cage in here would imply you go to the track.
Yes.
Is it a track day car, autocross car, lapping
track
day
day
car?
Just doing HPDEs right now, probably eventually going to go into a time trial build, but that's going to be as my driving progresses.
Very cool. That's what legit Volks look like on a Laguna Seca Blue E46 M3 that belongs to our man Bo here, who's in technical sales at AEM. Whenever we're at the track and we can't get something figured out on our Infinity, we're like, Bo, retune us, fix us up. He helps us. And he goes back to building this, which looks like you've done a lot of work on.
A little bit, yeah. Got a few more things planned, but it's coming together pretty nicely.
It's a track car, given the racing buckets?
Yep, I'd say so. I just need to get the rear roll bar installed and get the harnesses in and all that.
And the
We'll
motor
see.
you were telling me is a built motor because you had it modified itself by accident. And
Slight
you fixed it up.
rod bearing clearance issue.
Yes.
That is pretty common on these engines, unfortunately. So
And like a real car guy, when it's broken, you put better stuff back in.
course,
So
yeah.
what did you put in there?
it's got JE pistons in it, the
Okay.
asymmetrical skirts,
Yeah.
and then the Carilla rods. And it has the car bolts, which is probably a little overkill. I think it's like the 1,000 or 1,200 horsepower rod, but it's still NA, so
Yeah.
pretty sure they're not under a whole lot of stress right now.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I've toyed with the idea of turboing it, but it's such a fun engine NA that
Yeah.
I kind of have a hard time doing that.
Because you don't really need more power. I mean,
No,
you always want more power, but you
Who
don't
doesn't want
need more power.
But it's fun to think about. You know,
It still
especially-
revs out to 8K.
Yeah, 82, 8300, something like that. I mean,
Nice. And in the
yeah,
center
sunroof-
console, I noticed you've got a little AEM gadget. What is that?
Yep, so that's the VDM. It's a vehicle dynamics module. It needs to be placed in the middle of the car.
Oh, okay.
And that measures acceleration forces in all three axes.
Yeah.
It also measures yaw forces, so
Yeah.
like pitch, roll, dive, and also rotation of the car.
In-car data
So,
acquisition.
Yeah, it's really cool to look at on the track, and you actually see a lot about what's going on with the suspension, especially if you know the track, if you know a certain corner is pretty flat, and you
Yeah.
see the car doing this a little bit in the data, you can see the the roll of the car and kind of get an idea of what the car is doing
You're
without
getting that
actually.
off the yaw sensors as opposed to like a shock pod.
Yeah, I mean the best way to do is shock pots. 'Cause
Right.
the difference with that is, with the shock pot and the yaw, you can tell the difference between a rough track versus just the car suspension doing that.
Yeah,
but
I got ya.
You can sort of infer some of that. from the
Sure,
data.
no,
it's fun to look at.
Data is always handy to have.
Yeah,
Give me
everybody likes
information.
squiggly lines.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. It's the things that get me hot at night. And so, any other AEM goodies in here?
Yeah, it's got the Infinity ECU.
Okay.
It's got all of our sensors on it. It's running a full alpha N with baro compensation. So the throttle response is pretty insane
I
with
bet.
that setup.
What did it make on the dyno?
We have the Heartbreaker. I know everybody says Heartbreaker.
Yeah,
dynos,
everyone's
but,
got a Heartbreaker dyno.
It makes right around 300 on our dyno,
Okay.
whereas the stock one would make about 255 on ours.
Oh, wow.
So
It's a healthy bump then.
yeah, it's about as much as you can get out of an NA really. I have just about all the NA goodies except for cams, and
Okay.
I'd love to do that, but it's very expensive. By the
Yeah.
time you actually install them,
Yeah.
it's very expensive.
Tuned on pump gas?
Yep, I have tuned on the 85 as well, although
Okay.
that gives you maybe 15 horsepower at the most. If I had
Still.
really high compression, it helped more.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
15 horsepower.
Yeah, on these engines, people pay a lot of money for 15 horsepower.
yes, it's
so-
true. Serious.
Yeah.
Bo may have bankrupted himself with this build.
may
He's
have,
got
yeah.
another project car at home that's just being neglected. So
Yeah, it's ceased to continue the build when this car came to my
no longer a
ownership.
part of your life.
Yeah.
Well, let's Let's have a look at something completely different now. This beat up shop truck. What is this thing, Pete?
I think it's a C10 Chevy, something like that.
All right, let's have a look. This is John from CarCraft Magazine. This is his truck. I don't know anything about old trucks, Pete. Give me the camera.
You know what?
Give me the camera. Come on, get in there. The internet
Here's
wants
the
to see
thing,
you,
I don't
Peter.
know much about trucks anyways, but I do know John. We used to work together, and I am a fan of big block Chevys, and I assume that's what this is?
It is a big block Chevy, yeah.
So what is this exactly?
Okay, it's a 540 from Blueprint Engines, crate engine, which is basically a
A
standard
big
deck.
motor, a big
Yeah.
motor, people.
Yeah, basically a standard deck big block, but obviously overboard, big stroke crank.
And it makes how much for power?
We ran it at West Tech on the engine dyno, made 716 horsepower with the Infinity EFI on it, and then here, after we got it into the truck and ran it on the chassis dyno here, it made 587 at the wheels.
Wow, holy smokes. And there's a really cool radium setup in the rear with the fuel system,
Yeah.
which we'll show you. But before we get back there, I'm gonna bring Lawson in because he can tell us more about this whole EFI unit. Obviously, like I said, this looks carbureted, but it isn't. So Lawson, tell us, how does that happen?
Well, magic. No. Actually, you know, John and I started talking about EFI a few years ago, really, and at the beginning of last year, he said, you know, I've got this engine and we've dynoed it, and I really want to put it into my C10 project, but I'm getting more interest in EFI, and I said, well, we've got the perfect conversion for you. So we've developed a core universal harness. It's essentially a layover harness for the engine, and it allows you to snap in the subcomponents. So you snap in the proper cam and crank sub-harness, the proper injector sub-harness for the types of injectors you're running, the proper ignition sub-harness. So in this case it's distributed. We have one for distributed. We have one that'll run on dual sync distributors. We have one for Fords that run LS coils, for obviously Chevys that are running LS, and even our own smart coils. And at the end of the day, what it allows you to do is design a custom harness for your engine, really just snapping together all the subcomponents very, very simply, and it takes a lot of the pain out of the wiring experience. So that's what we're able to do with Truck Norris here, and
Which is the coolest name ever
It's
for a
a-
truck, is it not?
Yeah.
Truck Norris. I love
without a
it.
doubt.
It works.
Yeah.
So what you see there is, like I said, some really cool radium stuff. I'm not used to seeing it on a old pickup truck, but tell me a little bit about this whole setup and why it was used.
Okay, it's a popular conversion to put a gas tank in the back of these C10s under the bed. Originally, the gas tank is behind the driver's seat in the cab with you. Plus, it's only about 15 gallons. So it doesn't, you know, I needed something for the big block.
Right.
And I actually wasn't aware of radium before working with this project. Lawson recommended them, but they've got this really cool setup that is a drop-in to this universal opening in any fuel cell. We built it with the extra capacity so that we can run E85 with this thing
E85 is
eventually.
popular down here in California, and we need that back home, Dave, one day,
I
right?
know, we need the corn power. I think we need to know how often you got to fill up Truck Norris here. Because I noticed
Well,
there's drag radials on the back of them.
Right. There's drag radials, and it's really only been running for a couple months, and it's been raining the last 3 weeks, so I haven't driven it.
But you've been doing mad burnouts with it, right?
A few. And but it's gotten on a long trip. The longest trip I've taken so far is about 65 miles or so. I got 9 miles a gallon by my calculations of filling it up at the beginning, filling it up at the end.
It's okay. It makes almost 700 horsepower, and that ultimately is the most important part.
Absolutely.
The last car on this tour here is a 1976 Porsche 911, a personal favorite of mine, and the owner is Jason. He's an engineer here.
I am.
And as you've seen, there's a lot of work that has been done here. Obviously, there's an Infinity EMS on it.
Yeah, Infinity 506. It started life as a 2.7 liter, and in 1983, my grandfather actually swapped it to a 3 liter from a 79.
Oh, so this car's been around the family.
Owned, grandfather, my father, I'm the 3rd generation owner.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's now a 3.2 liter short stroke. It's got JE 98 millimeter pistons, ARP rod bolts, 964 camshafts.
All the good stuff
All
underneath.
the good stuff, yeah. It's all kind of hidden away, but
Yeah, I saw it's got a Carrera intake on it,
it does.
and the whole fuel injection conversion, obviously.
Yes. Yep.
And the distributorless setup, you got to tell me more about that because I'm very curious.
So it has, utilizing one of our EPMs for cam and crank signal. There's actually a company here in Long Beach that makes an adapter for those. It's
Very
called
cool.
Resant Products.
Right, I had to go with a trigger off the front side there.
Yeah, and I'm using Toyota Sienna coil packs. They actually
Very
fit
cool.
quite well.
Yeah.
JC and I made those fuel rails. It's got a TurboCraft TPS sensor. You're very familiar with TurboCraft.
Yes, I am.
But yeah,
And how's it
it's-
drive? That's the most important part, I think. Everybody wants to know.
It's miles different from what it was before. It was CIS previously. Didn't drive all that well with the larger displacement. Didn't really have the fueling capacity that it needed. So it really didn't make a whole lot of power. Ran hot. Now I haven't dynoed it yet, but somewhere around 230, 240, maybe.
Oh man, so
I'm
she's got a
estimating.
scoot.
Yeah, it's a 2,300 pound car.
Yeah, that's amazing.
fun.
Well, that about wraps this episode up. What I want you to do is make sure to click the subscribe channel and also check the notification button off because we've been having some of you tell us that you're not being subscribed anymore, and that's something that's happening with YouTube, but make sure to click that and check out our IG and our Facebook for all the latest updates.